This is Sports Rage. I am Gable Morency. The pimps, the players, the hustlers, the people, the busters, but everybody else in between the Thursday Night Throwdown. Sirius XM, Channel 159, Sports Grid Radio and Television Networks. We've got a packed house here tonight. Big Card Julio, JN Reports will kick it with us. Our boy Brent Beard, Heisman Trophy voter, First Coast News college football analyst. A lot of college football news to get to. Countdown to kickoff is on, but the NBA Finals are now officially set, and we've got a series price. Boston Celtics minus 225, Dallas Mavericks plus 185. Let's bring in a man that's bet on the NBA one or two times before in his lifetime. The Philly Godfather steps up in it. What's going on, Philly? How you doing tonight?
Yeah, I'm sitting pretty. I got futures on the Mavericks at 25-1, and I also have futures on Luka, NBA Finals MVP at 20-1. So somehow we got there again, man. We're in a great position. That's what sports betting is all about, being in a good position.
That's a great point. These, you know what? People bet sports in different ways. Some people bet on players. There's prop bettors. There's the numbers guys, the DFS guys and stuff. But there's also sort of the you get these futures. It's really a stock, right? I mean, getting these great stocks, and right now you do put yourself in a good position. And from a storyline perspective and from a basketball perspective, it's a great series, right? You got Luka, you got Kyrie going back to Boston. They despise him. Can the Celtics get over the top and finally win? It's going to be fun basketball. And you can argue, like I said earlier, that the Boston Celtics are the better team on paper. They had the better record and all that. Yet, they've been knocking on a door in the past. Can they knock this door down? People are going to try to talk themselves into Dallas, that Dallas can win this series. What's your take right now? Do you think that Boston should be minus 225 favorites?
Yeah, I think so. I think the big question mark is Porzingis. Does he come back? Is he 50%? Is he 75%? Does he come back for game 1, game 2, game 3? It's a big question mark if you don't have him on the basketball court. As of right now, Jason Kidd, better coach. You got the two best players in the world right now. The best player on the planet, Luka. They're on Dallas. Boston has been playing down to their competition. I mean, they only put up 105 points against the Pacers last game, and the Pacers had the 24th ranked defense in the entire NBA this season. So they've had some trouble scoring. While the Mavericks, you've seen what they did to Minnesota. They had the number 1 defense in the NBA, and they scored at will. So this is a very interesting series. The two best closers on the court, Luka and Kyrie, by far. I think the line's right about right. And if Porzingis isn't 100%, I kind of like the Mavericks here, to be honest.
And as you said, they are a better team when Porzingis is there. I just sort of never believe in this guy. He's helped the Celtics, but he's always hurt. So, but from what I understand, he's going to be ready to go next week. Will he get hurt again? Will he last the entire series? That's another question. But let's not forget, he played for the Mavericks too, and he didn't like playing for the Mavericks. He didn't like being Luka's sidekick. He didn't feel as though he should be Luka's sidekick. And listen, Kristaps, you're good, but, everybody is going to be Luka's sidekick at this point, as great as Kyrie is even. But he's fit in with Boston more. Big dynamic there. But to me, and I brought it up earlier, Philly Godfather, these secondary role players on the Mavericks, they've never had the right combination of guys before. But these young dudes, man, they got ice in their veins, right? Lively's a rookie, man, but he brings a lot to the table. Washington's got swagger. He's confident. Like, these role guys, I think you can trust them more than past role players with the Mavericks as well. To me, that's a big key for them.
Yeah, and we're talking about Porzingis, but you're giving Luka another week of rest, and he wasn't 100% healthy. So now you got an even scarier Luka on the basketball court that no one can cover. It's a real interesting series. And, at that price, I like Dallas. I mean, if you flip a coin 100 times and you're giving plus 220, you're gonna take the 220. I think it's a coin flip. I think the series is a coin flip. If the Mavs can win game 1, everything flip-flops, changes. And no matter how healthy Porzingis gets, if Dallas can win that first game of the series, you got a good shot at cashing that ticket.
I'm always a fan of the series spread bets, right? And I'm looking right now, and I'm looking for the first time at this stuff right now. So the Boston Celtics guys, minus 1.5 games in the series is minus 120. The Mavericks plus 1.5 games is also minus 120. Mavericks plus 2.5 is minus 260. Little bit pricey, but the Mavericks have a couple of wins in them here. You think we're going to go 7 games here? I'd be shocked if we don't go at least 6, but feels like this is going to be a fun 7-game series.
Absolutely. I think it goes 7. If I had a bet on it, I'd say it goes 7. Like I said, I think the series is a coin flip, and give me the plus money. And it's going to come down to the wire. And if it does come down to the wire, the Mavericks have shown that, down the stretch, they're the most dangerous team in the NBA this season. You got the 2 best closers on the basketball court in Kyrie and Luka. It's going to be a fun series to watch.
Here are some series correct scores for everybody. Celtics sweep plus 625. Mavericks sweep 1,600. Celtics in 5 is plus 325. Mavericks in 5 is plus 1,200. Celtics in 6 plus 400. Mavericks in 6 plus 600. Mavericks in 7 plus 650. Celtics in 7 plus 400. I see a bet here, too. And I don't know how you feel about laying juice with this stuff. Some people are opposed to it, but I've had success with these over 5.5s. Over 5.5 games is minus 175. So we got to go to get to 6 to win the bet. And it's not bad here if you're liking Dallas, getting Dallas at plus 606 and plus 650 and 7.
I like that bet. And you got to remember, you only pay the juice when you lose. So, laying 170 over 5.5, I think you're stealing money there.
Yeah, you get 2 wins, right? Although it did not work for me. I needed 1 win from the Pacers, and I couldn't get it. I had the Pacers plus 3.5. They came close. They came close a lot, but we couldn't get it. So, we'll get into the hockey, a little baseball on the other side with the Philly Godfather. Big Card Julio's going to step up, and then we got Brett Beard joining us as well. We'll continue to get the prices that are set here as we're the NBA Finals, man. People want to go through a little bit of basketball withdrawals for the next week. Full week off, guys, for the NBA right now. Time to start paying more attention to the WNBA this week. And looked like someone wanted to take Caitlin Clark's head off tonight, actually. We'll keep you up to date with that.
It's smarter to be on Sports Grid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from 3 on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not 1, but 2 coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage Late
Sort of
Night.
has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on Sports Grid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
That was Aaron Rodgers' thing. It's your quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
It's a luxury pick. We don't have the luxury. We're trying to win right now. I'm in a window right now, and you're going to say, no, we're going to plan this for the future. With a guy who had 4 years, 4 seasons ended by injury. 4. Like, Michael Penix is a walking injury. Like, what are you doing taking him in the top 10?
The Bostonian versus the Book.
And now you have to qualify in these majors. You got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness. And I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships. Mm-hmm. So in the same note, I'm saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now. And you don't deserve anything.
Only on Sports Grid.
This is Sports Rage. I am Morency. So I brought it up earlier when I introduced you, and I said, you're obviously in Philly. You know Tim Donaghy. You know a lot about how NBA officiating works. And, so the NBA Finals, how much of an impact do you think the officials will have on these NBA Finals? It's basically Scott Foster's going to do a bunch of the games, right? So what are your thoughts? What do you think about the current NBA referees right now?
Man, we always talk about the NBA lean as sports bettors, and a lot of people thought it was a myth for years. And then, I've talked to Timmy. I've known Timmy for a long time, and he told us how it works and how they come down before each and every series and tell certain referees to watch out for this guy. This guy's traveling too much. This guy's hacking too much. And they kind of lead them in a direction how they want to call the series. And it benefits some teams. And right away, Timmy told us he knew right away by the way they told him how to ref these series who was going to end up winning the series. So there's definitely an NBA lean. But you got two great teams. You got Boston. You got, the legendary player Bill Walton. He played for the Celtics. So I don't know. Conspiracy theories. There's definitely an NBA lean, but this is going to be a great series. You got Luka. He's the best player on the planet. Why don't they push him? You can also say, you know what? You know how they, favored Jordan. They favored LeBron. Well, maybe now they're going to favor Luka in the series.
I spoke to Tim a couple of times. And I was fascinated too, and I learned a lot about just sort of how it goes. He told me just a funny story about I had him on during the playoffs once by chance. His book was out and he told me, he goes, tonight, he goes, I'll tell you, this team's going to lose tonight. And he basically told me, I said, oh, why? And he said, oh, the ref hates the coach of this team with a passion. He goes, the coach has said some personal things that have crossed the line to him, and he makes them pay all the time. So I'm always fascinated about that. Because people, especially in today's day and age, everybody thinks everything's fixed. It's not that easy to pull off. So everyone thinks everything's fixed all the time, right? And sometimes it's not that it's fixed, but it is true. There's going to be personal biases and little grudges. Nick Nurse is a good example in Philly. No one likes him. He bitches all the time, 24/7. Let's see, you saw, they didn't even give him a timeout. They were like, whatever. Screw you, Nick. We're not giving you the timeout. They don't like him. I saw it in Toronto, and I see it now in Philly. Sometimes it's just a personal grudge. Not everything's a conspiracy.
No, it's not. And look at the whole Chris Paul, thing that has been going on for years. But yeah, personal grudges, and there's nothing more powerful than the whistle. I tell people all the time, I'll take the whistle over Michael Jordan, LeBron James, Dr. J, Allen Iverson. Give me the whistle each and every time.
All right, so before we get you out of here, where can people find you online, and any thoughts on the baseball? Wild week in New York with the Mets, I'll tell you that. Never a dull day at City. I've been, last time you and I talked, we talked about unders. I just continue riding this wave, man. Yankee unders, Mariner unders. Unders have been a big thing in baseball right now. No one can hit, bro.
Yeah, and I just tweeted out a crazy stat by the Yankees. I'll read it off to you. The Yankees' 5 starters, Gil, Cortez, Rodon, Stroman, and Schmidt, are on a Major League Baseball record 16-game stretch during which they've all thrown 5 innings or more while allowing 2 runs or less, the longest such streak since 1893. So their pitching has been lights out. And Garrett Cole, there's no rush to bring him back the way they're pitching, the Yankees. So I bet some overnights if you guys want them. I bet the under in the Royals game, under 8.5, 8, if you can find it, and the under in the Indians game for tomorrow. I bet a lot of overnights. I kind of move the market, shape the market with my totals. That's like my niche. So they're 2 of the totals I bet for tomorrow already.
Nice. And you know what? I've been riding this Royal team this week and some unders as well. And let me ask you, too, if I've been talking a lot about that. I brought up the Yankees' run with their pitchers. And you look at the Mariners, there's a lot of teams are getting, great production. Is it that these pitchers are awesome? Or is it that the hitters are just so obsessed with hitting home runs only as well? The league batting average right now is 240.
Yeah.
Think in the 80s, that would get your ass cut. 240. Now you get $25 million as long as you have 25 home runs with that.
Yeah, weather dictates ball flight. So a lot of my totals are based on weather. Obviously the pitching expected runs, the umpire strike zones, the park factors, the home run index. There's a bunch of boxes that I check off before I bet these totals. But yeah, I mean, Seattle's biggest problem has been hitting. Their pitching has been lights out, but they've scored 200 runs on the year, one of the lowest in the American League. So they're going to catch on fire. If you look at strength of schedule down the stretch, I know we're only 60 games in, but some of the weakest strength of schedules, Cincinnati, Seattle, Dodgers, and Houston moving forward. We're not looking back to those teams.
It's smarter to be on Sports Grid, your 24/7 sports wagering network. The early line.
Magical and historic season in Lincoln, Nebraska continues.
He is the best player in the NBA, but also in the biggest moments where the national media is watching.
Newswire.
Something that we have never seen happen before with one of the iconic coaches in the game.
Pharrell, coast to coast.
The team covers. It's automatic. It's every time. Not sometimes. It's every time.
Game time decisions.
Luka is actually far more dangerous from three on the road this year than at home.
This game here tonight, you may want to consider taking as many points as humanly possible.
In-game live. Prime time.
We got not one, but two coaches fired systems in place.
Sports Rage Late
sort
Night.
of has letdown written all over it. It's going to be hard to match the emotion that they played with the other night.
It's smarter to be on Sports Grid. The Bostonian versus the Book.
That was Aaron Rodgers' thing. Took a quarterback in the first round.
Yeah.
It's a luxury pick. We don't have the luxury. We're trying to win right now. I'm in a window right now, and you're going to say, no, we're going to plan this for the future. With a guy who had 4 years, 4 seasons ended by injury. 4. Like, Michael Penix is a walking injury. Like, what are you doing taking him in the top 10?
The Bostonian versus the Book.
And now you have to qualify, and these majors, you got to go do it, man. Like, and it just comes off really petty to sit up there and be like, I'm not.
You know what you signed up for. So I don't like the pettiness, and I 100% think Taylor Gooch should be in the major championships.
Mm-hmm.
So in the same note of saying this, but also it's like, hey, this is the world in which we live in right now, and you don't deserve anything.
Only on Sports Grid.
This is Sports Rage. I am Gable Morency. We're kicking it tonight on Sirius XM Channel 159 Sports Grid Radio and Television Network. So we went to the break there. We're just talking about some totals. Looking at the overnights right now, Pittsburgh and Toronto. Toronto starting to get it going on. They're playing the Blue Jays, and the Blue Jays have their City Connect jersey out. And we're going to show it to you later. It's actually pretty badass. The actual jersey is pretty cool. But Philly Godfather with us. We'll get him out of here. But Philly Godfather, you talked about the Cleveland game. Cleveland to the under, and the Kansas City Royals. Another team has been getting it done with good pitching.
Yeah, those young arms are holding up. And last time I was on the show, I told you they're a sleeper at 60-1. I think they're down to 25-1 now. So if they can hold up, I mean, they might make the playoffs, and you have an opportunity to hedge that future ticket I gave you guys.
Yeah, you know what? I was talking about the Royals the other night, too. Nobody still believes in them. It's funny. Hey, they win all the time. They're actually the most profitable team, them and the Guardians, but they're plus 110. They're plus money and stuff still. So where can people find you online?
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Philly Godfather. The website's thephillygodfather.com. And the Royals have the 3rd or 4th best run differential in baseball. So this team's for real.
Hey, always good breaking it down with you. Thanks for taking the time to be with us tonight, man. There's the Philly Godfather with us. And Julio is ready to step up and in from the janitor's closet in Colorado. The professor is in the house with us. What's going on, Julio? How you doing?
I'm doing well. Just making sure everything's nice and spotless and clean here in the office before I head home tonight.
I was thinking, you know what? Maybe you should have a reward for your students, actually. We'll bring your best student on as a guest appearance at the end of the year or something.
I like that idea.
It's not bad, right? You give him a little incentive to be. Give him a little incentive. I like to support the media's youth in Colorado. So Julio, the